This is the FlipNerd.com Expert Real Estate Investing Show, the show for real estate investors, whether you're a veteran or brand new. I'm your host, Mike Hambright, and each week I bring you a new expert guest that will share their knowledge and lessons with you. If you're excited about real estate investing, believe in personal responsibility, and taking control of your life and financial destiny, you're in the right place. This is episode number 408, and my guest today is Nasar El-Arabi. He's a Charlotte-based real estate investor. It's no mistake that we're in a more challenging market for real estate investors these days than in years past, but also make no mistake, there are plenty of people absolutely crushing it in markets all across the country. Don't make excuses, you can still be successful. Today, Nasar shares some of the key things and some of the key takeaways that he has on what it takes to be successful as a real estate investor in today's market. You've got to be willing to work harder than your competition, stay sharp so you can outsmart your competition, and sometimes you just have to flat out outspend your competition. More than anything, you've got to stay focused on why you became a real estate investor in the first place. If you have a strong vision for why you do what you do, nobody can take that away from you. Please help me welcome Nasar to the show. Hey, Nasar, welcome to the show.
Hey, man, thank you for having me on, Mike.
Yeah, it's good to see you. It's good to see you. We haven't talked for a little while, so I know you've been cranking. You're in the Charlotte market, right?
That's correct. Charlotte, North Carolina, home of the Carolina Panthers and the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah, you must be a fan.
Yeah, I'm kind of a Giants fan, but I love the Charlotte Hornets, and we're not doing too swell, man.
Yeah. Well, man, I grew up in Illinois, so I've either been a Cubs fan, which hasn't been too bad the past couple of years, a Bears fan, maybe not great. Now I'm in Cowboy country, so it hasn't been great for a long time either, though. Fans are still loyal. Yeah. So, hey, man, I'm excited to talk about this today because you and I have known each other for several years, and I know that you just grind and you just kind of do whatever it takes to be successful, which is really important for everybody in this business. We're just going to talk about what it takes to thrive in today's market. But before we get started, for those that don't know you, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and your background?
All right. Well, I am Nasar El-Arabi in the Charlotte, North Carolina market. I've been involved with real estate for about 11 years now. I didn't start off on the right foot and end up losing. I talked about that in the first time you had me on. End up losing $7,000 a piece on me and my partner on my first fix and flip. And I thought it was easy. And you probably get these students, Mike, all the time. They think it was easy because, back then, pre-crash, when you watched the flipping house shows, all you had to do was buy an ugly house, yell at a bunch of contractors, and make a bunch of money.
Right.
So unfortunately, I yelled at the contractor, but we lost money. So with that being said, I found out about creative real estate in 2010. And I found out a niche about wholesaling. I did my first wholesale deal in 2011 and been full-time since I got fired from my job in September of 2012. I used to record a lot of YouTube videos. You guys can find me at Real Estate Duru. Real Estate Duru. I'm not a guru. I'm a duru because I actually do this business. So Duru is D-O-R-U. Got a lot of content out there that's still relevant to today. But yeah, man, that's basically my background. My last job was in September of 2012. College graduate, man, and I kind of always knew the corporate world wasn't for me, but I guess the corporate world decided that I wasn't for them either.
It was mutual, right? Hey, I feel the same thing happened to me. Yeah. Cool, man. And so now you're doing around 60 deals a year or so. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. And so, what we're going to talk about today is this is a different market. You gotta be smarter. You got to work harder. You got to do whatever it takes. And so let's talk about, maybe before we kind of dive into these things, just talk about how the market's changed. And there's obviously still a lot of opportunity. I have people on the show every week where there's people that have only been investors sometimes for a couple of years, and they're doing 50, 100, 150 houses or more. And so that's just a sign to tell people that, the old dogs kind of come in and say, oh, it's not like it used to be. It's hard to be successful now. And then you got the new bucks that come in and they just crush it, which you were there once. I was there once when people said you couldn't do it, right? So we prove people wrong in our time when we came in. There's people still proving us wrong whenever we think the market is tough here right now. But just maybe share your thoughts, high level, before we kind of dive in as to why you've got to be better now than in the past.
Well, right now the market is hot. Real estate education is very, like, you can find it everywhere. Literally, any social media platform you're on, any listening device you use, infomercials, listening to the radio, the real estate education is everywhere. And you always have new investors getting in. And these days, everyone's teaching, do the buy an absentee owner list, do the direct mail. So the off-market deals are starting to shrink up. Sellers know we are in a hot market. So they're being, they know they have the upper hand. So they're saying things like, hey, well, let me give you 15. Your offer's 100. Let me call these other 15 just to see what they got to say. Then I'll give it back to you. Those are responses that we're getting on average now, on a lot now. And, or let me talk to my attorney, and we're waiting for them to get back. We're constantly calling them, and they're not picking up the phone. And then they finally pick up the phone and say, oh, I signed the contract yesterday. Wait, you say you were going to talk to your attorney? Things like
right.
that. So, right now, the way the market is so hot. Still a bunch of opportunity out there. I still made 6 figures the first quarter. So still money to be made.
Yeah. You're still not stuck in corporate America.
Right. Yeah. I haven't updated my resume on Indeed.com or anything. So with that being said, it's still a bunch of opportunity out there. It's just that now to get in front of those sellers and to maximize your opportunity, you have to go harder than everyone else.
If you're an active real estate investor already doing deals and looking to double or triple your business, you should consider joining the Investor Fuel Real Estate Investor Mastermind. We're a small group of investors that share our best practices, tips, and tricks with one another in an effort to all win. We limit our membership to only 1 to 2 members per market, so everyone shares their knowledge, tips, and tricks openly and honestly. Our members include some buying 1 to 2 houses a month, up to some of the most respected investors and leaders in the real estate investing industry, some of which have personally done over 1,000 deals. If you'd like to be considered for our invitation-only world-class mastermind, please visit investorfuel.com to request your personal invitation. Our next meeting is coming up quickly. Go to investorfuel.com now to learn more.
My attorney, and we're waiting for them to get back. We're constantly calling them, and they're not picking up the phone. And then they finally pick up the phone and say, oh, I signed the contract yesterday. Wait, you say you were going to talk to your attorney? Things like
right.
that. So, right now, the way the market is so hot. Still a bunch of opportunity out there. I still made 6 figures the first quarter. So still money to be made.
Yeah. You're still not stuck in corporate America.
Right. Yeah. I haven't updated my resume on Indeed.com or anything. So with that being said, it's still a bunch of opportunity out there. It's just that now to get in front of those sellers and to maximize your opportunity, you have to go harder than everyone else.
Yeah. So let's break this down. We're going to talk about a few things you and I kind of discussed up front. You might have to outspend your competition sometimes. You got to outsmart your competition. You got to stay sharp on your game. And you got to outwork your competition, like kind of hustle. So let's kind of jump into the outspend part. I mean, you find yourself having to spend more now than in years past, right?
Absolutely. I have to spend more, man. I'm doing about 25,000 postcards a week. A month. 25,000. I'm only spending about 15 grand a month here in Charlotte market with just direct mail, one channel. And I know probably about 2 other guys that's probably spend as much as me, and one of those guys were in the same mastermind with me and you, Mike. So so we're pretty much like I'm the 500-pound gorilla, and some other guys like the 800-pound gorilla. But for us to beat the competition, what you have to do is just have to be willing to outspend your competition as far as the marketing and get in front of those sellers to maximize their opportunities.
Yeah. So what happens sometimes is when in a market like this, if somebody's willing to work really hard and hustle and door knock and cold call and all that stuff, they're always limited by their time, right? It's hard to do 60 deals a year that way. So you got to be willing to step up and spend some money on advertising. In your situation, you're willing to step up and spend more than you did in the past. And the people that were dabbling, spending $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month in your market, have either gotten wiped out or they've had to figure something else out, right?
Absolutely. I known investors when me and you started, Mike, on the investment side of what Session was in. I know a few investors that they were around then and they were full time and they didn't progress or transgress, and what happened was they had to go get jobs.
Yeah. There's a bunch of people. When I think back to when I first started, there's a bunch of people that were all over the place. I'm on their wholesale list. They're wholesaling lots of deals. I haven't heard from those guys in years now.
Yeah.
Now, other things happen too. Health issue. I don't know what their situations are, but yeah, a lot of people that used to just scrounge some stuff up here and there and do okay in a down market, unless they stepped up their game, they're gone now, right?
Yeah.
For the most part. Yep. So let's talk about outsmarting your competition. So there's a lot of people that keep doing things the way that they've been doing them for a long time. I was just talking about some new bucks that come in. I know a few people that I've had on the show lately that are here in the Dallas market. Jamie Woolley. We have RJ Bates coming up here. They weren't even investing more than a couple of years, and now they're doing more than 100 deals a year in what we think is probably one of the most competitive markets in the country, certainly top 5 or 10 for sure, Dallas. But they just came in and figured it out. So talk a little bit about why it's important to be smarter and kind of like your shirt says there. You gotta know the game.
I know the game. So yeah, basically, in this market, you want to outbeat your competition. You want to be able to build a better rapport with the seller. You want to be able to know how to properly sell, because you're selling. What we do, we have a service as wholesalers, but we're selling the seller on dealing with us. So, we have to sharpen up our sales skills. Don't be afraid to go to those sales training classes and such, to outbeat your competition, to know when and where to say the right things. I have gotten houses because some guys go in there and beat up the house verbally in front of the seller. The seller already feels bad. And meanwhile, I'm just understanding.
Right.
Okay, don't. Hey, man, we go into stuff like this all the time. I've seen worse. I don't beat up the house with the sellers. You know what I mean? They know they got a messed up house.
Right.
So you just want to be better than your competition because if it's a situation whereas they're showing 5 investors, ideally you want to be that one investor that gets the contract.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and I by the time this show airs here, we're recording this, a week or two in advance of when it actually comes out. But for example, I've been an investor for 10 years. I'm going to John Martinez's sales training boot camp, REI Sales Academy, coming up here in third week of April. And so yeah, it's important to just kind of stay on top of your game and continue to educate yourselves. Can you share some things that you do to kind of stay sharp or stay ahead of the game? Because truthfully, let's be honest, I know you agree with this too. For folks listening, this is very much a mental game. Like, there's people that have been doing this for 8, 10, 20 years, whatever, and they give up and throw the towel in sometimes because they say, well, this just doesn't work. But it doesn't work the way it used to work. Like, what? Nothing works the way it used to work. We've got cell phones now. We don't have like rotary dial phones. Like, things advance, right? And it's not just technology. It's your mindset and your skill set, right? So from a mindset standpoint, what's some advice you can give to people to kind of stay sharp, or what are some things that you do to try to stay sharp and stay ahead?
I listen to a lot of podcasts. Lately, I've been listening to mental toughness podcasts, because that mentality of me shifting my mental, that's what got me out of corporate America, and I was able to succeed. So as well, just having that mental shift. So I listen to a lot of podcasts, man. when I'm working, doing back end stuff in my home office. What I do, I go on YouTube, put different motivational, videos on, or them interviewing a very successful person. If a successful person is genuine, most of the time, if the interview they're genuine, and they'll tell you about their failures, the things they had to overcome. Some things that I think I went through were pretty tough, or nothing compared to what you know.
Yeah.
Got through, so
Yeah.
just put myself around those people and just seeing, hey, well, if they overcame that, I definitely can overcome my little small problem.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It's always eye-opening to me. Of course, with social media, you see people posting videos that are like, I've seen this one lately where it's like a bricklayer with like one arm and no legs, and it's just like cranking out brick wall, stuff like that. And you're like, man, I've got, my back's a little sore today, but I got to stop complaining. But yeah, that stuff happens all the time. That's what hopefully, even with our podcast, people get some inspiration out of hearing some of these people that are new to the game that just come in and crush it when everybody else is squealing about how bad the market is or how hard it, not that it's a bad market, competitive market. But yeah, I think that's pretty much a universal truth almost. Sometimes we forget like how good we have it. Like we kind of complain a little bit, but we're like, man, my problems aren't nearly as bad as this other person, especially when it comes to health issues, right? But I think with success, man, I think that's one of the things that I love about this business and that I love about doing this podcast is I talk to people that just they don't have all these preconceived notions about how it used to be. They're like, well, that's how it used to be, but that's not how it is anymore, and here's how I'm going to keep moving forward. Some of it is getting around in masterminds too, right? Just getting around people that get you out of your shell, and you kind of see how they're people that are doing something bigger and better than you, and how they're doing it, and you can kind of learn from one another, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. So let's talk about the outwork part. Sometimes you just got to hustle. This is like a hustle business, right? So I know a lot of people, and truthfully, that's probably one of the things that some people have tried to do. Like all the things we mentioned here, outspend and outsmart, like none of them individually work by themselves. You can outspend people, but if you're not willing to work harder, then sometimes just spending more money isn't the answer always, right? So let's talk about the hustle side of this, because I think what's happened is in years past, some people were willing to work hard. Now they're like, I don't really want to work that hard anymore. But what's happened really is they've just gotten a little bit lazy. So let's talk about the importance of outworking your competition.
All right, yeah, you just gotta be like it's extremely important these days because you have everybody wanting to be an investor, so you have to beat a lot of people so that you can get that paycheck. Ultimately, that's what a lot of us want is the paycheck. Of course, we want to do things right, serve people properly, and serve God, and things like that. But we want to get a paycheck, so you just have to be willing to outwork. Like me, I'm not doing the 2,000 to 3,000 postcards. I go after the bigger list. So somebody sends me a list, I mail everything on that particular list when I request a list. Whereas the guys who are mailing 1,000 postcards these days, they're probably getting 2 calls out of 1,000. Meanwhile, I increase my chances.
Yep.
So yeah, that's why I do what I do.
Yeah, and would you say? I mean, I know. When you came in, you hustled a lot harder because you had to, right? You had to prove yourself, especially after doing a deal where you didn't make money. Like a lot of people give up then, right? They just do that and like, oh, this doesn't work. But,
Right.
You didn't give up. You just went out and made it happen. So talk about like the hustle side of this business, whether it's in terms of lead generation, whether it's driving for dollars. A lot of people that are doing cold calling tactics now, just things like that, the importance of being willing to do that. I know sometimes when you have a business that's ramped up like yours, you don't have to do it as much. For people that are trying to get in the business, maybe talk to them a little bit about willingness to do whatever it takes from a hustle standpoint. Jump in the car, drive across town, and talk to somebody that doesn't sound like they're that motivated just because you never know, stuff like that.
All right. That, man, that's going to come down to why are you doing this business? It's going to come down to your why because, see, with me, it took me 8 months to get my first wholesale deal. And Mike, you've seen way more people than I have that gave up being that you run an education business. So you've seen way more. But during that process of 8 months, I could have gave up the second month, the third month, the fourth month, the fifth month, the sixth, the seventh, etc. I just knew. I was for certain that at the time I was back in my 20s, so I looked at some people that were 10, 20, 30 years older than me, and I just knew I did not want to be them. I did not want, and when I say be them, meaning in 10, 20, 30 years, I'm here. At that particular job, I did not want to be them. I did not want the life they had. I knew what I wanted. I just had to go out and make it happen. Yep. So it kind of boils down to, like, let's say, Mike, you give somebody, you take on a new student. New student might have a job, and they might be making excuses of, well, I don't have enough time because I got to work 40 hours, then I got to drive home, then la. Man, you have to learn time management, but you have to. Mike can't make you do it. You have to want to do it.
Right.
So, you have to want to do it. So those new people, man, I would say, think about why you're doing this business. If you're serious about it, man, block out your schedule and make those 100 calls that you had to make, cold call. Drive around town. Think about why you're doing it, man. If you're serious, you're gonna do it. If you're not serious, it was just another get-rich-quick scheme that you thought you can get a quick check, and you found out it wasn't.
Not at all, man. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. There's a lot of people that make excuses. People just get comfortable. Like, they say they hate their job, but it's just comfortable to collect that check, right? Of course, they could lose that tomorrow or next month or next year. Like, nobody's safe anymore, right?
No.
Not when you're working for somebody else.
Yeah, I remember, like, and this is back in my 20s, that last recession, which was the worst recession since the Great Depression, but there were jobs that people would consider secure jobs, okay? Like working for the government, working for this department, say, oh, that job is secure, you're good. During that time, man, people were getting laid off from these so-called secure jobs.
Right.
We're in a new day and age. There's nothing secure no more.
Yep.
If the boss or whoever needs to trim some fat, well, then some departments just got to go, or some people just have to get laid off. That's just the name of the game now, man. I know I have an associate, a guy that I know was working at probably a Fortune 50 company, been there 10 plus years, making about probably $35 an hour, and got laid off due to they eliminated that department and outsourced it. So now he had to go find a job and couldn't find that $35 an hour starting pay job.
Right.
He had to get something that probably 50% less than his salary, but just to go to what Mike said, nothing is secure these days, man. It's not secure anymore.
Yeah, you got to take responsibility for yourself, man, because nobody else is looking at it the way you do.
No.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, what advice would you give we talked a little bit about it here, but for, let's just say, new people that are getting started, they're trying to get started in a market that is more challenging than it has been in the past. Plenty of opportunity, though. We know that if you have your mindset right. But what kind of advice would you give to people that are new or newer, or were like you and me before, where we just got started, we maybe done a deal or two, but as we're realizing it's a little bit harder than what we thought. What advice would you give to that person?
Man, focus. Put yourself around positivity. Put yourself around positivity when you're in your car. Listen to podcasts, audiobooks. Mike has 400 plus episodes, so you have a lot of content right there. That's 400 plus testimonials. So you can listen to the Flip Nerd podcast, but put yourself in the car, listen to audiobooks. When you get home, what I did when I first got started in this business, man, I cut out cable to focus just on real estate.
Yeah.
Cut out cable. Stop listening to music in my car. Listening to podcasts. I had to make it happen. Your social media. I know we got these friends we grew up with, but now we have to grow mentally. So try to, you want to start having positivity come down your news feed. In my 20s, I had some wild stuff coming down my news feed. Now, I got, people posting checks, positive things, happiness, love coming down. I still got a little bit of ratchet, coming down my timeline, but the positivity outweighs the negative, outweighs the ratchet stuff, I would say. So, even on your social media, we can't control that, man. If somebody's always complaining about life and you're already seeing that stuff, maybe, just delete them.
Right.
And look for like a flip nerd type page, fan page, etc. Because if you like enough positive fan pages, Facebook is going to start suggesting something to you, and you can have that, and you can have that and be able to connect with like-minded people.
Yeah.
Especially, man, we got Facebook groups and everything, millions of Facebook groups on any given topic, that you can join. I remember, man, when I first got started out on the creative real estate side on 2010, as far as podcasts, there were probably less than 5 real estate podcasts, and maybe 2 or 3 of those guys were active and didn't quit the business because of the recession. Now you got 100 plus podcasts.
Yeah.
And if you're in a major city, you got about 500 meetups going on in your particular city. That I didn't have those things when I was getting started in the creative side back in 2010. It was only a few meetups, et cetera. So there's options out there, guys. You got to put yourself around the right people.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no doubt. I think sometimes I tell people to make an inventory. I tell people 2 things, a lot of things, but a couple of things. One is block off time to focus on this, right? Just block time, because sometimes we're like, I'm going to get to it. And you just say, no, man, from 7 to 9, I'm working on this. Or you've got kids, put them to bed. From 9 to 11, I'm going to work on this. Whatever it is, like if you want it bad enough, make that time all about this. Like don't put the kids to bed or get home late from work and like turn on the news or something that's going to bring you down, that's not going to add any value. And it's going to be the same thing they've been talking about for years anyway. So you're right, though. Just getting yourself around people with the same mindset that have the same interest in you. So there's a ton of real estate groups and Facebook groups and lots of other things out there. Just constantly putting that in your mind. You'll start to see, the interesting thing about this business is, and probably other businesses too, but this is what we do, is I don't know anybody that came out of the womb flipping houses, right? We all had challenges of some sort and learned how to do this. So everybody learned this. This is not some innate skill that we're born with, right? We all figured this out because we wanted it bad enough, right?
That's correct.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, that's great information. That's some great takeaways there. So, Nasser, if folks want to learn more about you, where could they go learn more?
Man, realestateguru.com. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I haven't updated in years
because you're focused on your real estate business. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, focus on my real estate business. But any social media, Real Estate Guru, you'll find me. If you want active, I'm a little bit more active on Instagram at Real Estate Guru. But yeah, so and if you want some content, you can go to YouTube, and I have over 100 plus videos on that particular channel. So something to keep you busy for a few months.
Sounds a few months. Sounds good, man. We'll track down some links and add them down in the show notes down below here on flipnerd.com. So good to see you, my friend.
All right, you too, Mike, and thanks for everything.
Yeah, everybody. This is episode number 408 with Nasser. He's got a great story. He's started off and made it happen, just like you can too if you're not already doing it. So appreciate you guys being here. If you haven't already, please give us a positive rating on iTunes, Stitcher Radio. You can subscribe to us out there. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Anywhere. You can find us in a million places. We put our content everywhere, of course, on flipnerd.com. So keep those positive ratings coming in and share our show with your friends. That's what keeps us moving forward, is more people listening and trying to impact more lives. So appreciate everybody. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next episode. If you're an active real estate investor already doing deals and looking to double or triple your business, you should consider joining the Investor Fuel Real Estate Investor Mastermind. We're a small group of investors that share our best practices, tips, and tricks with one another an effort to all win. Real estate investing can be a lonely business for successful real estate investors, but it doesn't have to be. Investor Fuel members meet 4 times a year, but we talk to each other 365 days a year, and we focus on improving the profitability of our businesses, improving the quality of our lives. That's why we do this, right? And making an impact on those around us so we can truly leave a legacy. We limit our membership to only 1 to 2 members per market, so everyone shares their knowledge, tips, and tricks openly and honestly. Our members include some buying 1 to 2 houses a month, up to some of the most respected investors and leaders in the real estate investing industry, some of which have personally done over 1,000 deals. If you'd like to be considered for our invitation-only world-class mastermind, please visit investorfuel.com to request your personal invitation. Our next meeting is coming up quickly. Go to investorfuel.com now to learn more. Thanks for joining us for this episode of the FlipNerd.com Investing Show. If you're not yet an elite member of FlipNerd, you're missing out. We have tons of great training, including a new detailed masterclass published each month and live training webinars with experts twice a month. Plus, you'll get access to all of our archives, where we already have a growing library of masterclasses and other training videos. Elite members also get membership in our incredible online mastermind group, where many of the top real estate investors from across the country, including many of the hundreds of guests I've had on the show in the past, are already members. Whether you're brand new, looking to get started, or a veteran, you simply must join today. I promise you won't be disappointed. To learn more or join today, please visit flipnerd.com/lab. That's flipnerd.com/lab. See you on the next show.